So just like we can declare an array of integers, we can also declare an array of movie objects or any kind of structures. We just change the type to movie and the name of this variable to movies. But you know the problem with these arrays. We talked about them many times before. So in the standard library, we have a class called vector, which implements a dynamic array. And that's the preferred way to store a list of objects. So with this class, we're not going to allocate too much memory. We're not going to waste memory. This class will take care of all the complexity around memory management. Now we're going to talk about vectors in detail in the next part of this course. But for now, let's see how we can use a vector to store a list of movie objects and then loop over them. So first we go to the top and include the vector file from the standard library. Now back to our main function. Here we're going to use the vector class. Now the vector class is also generic, so it can work with different data types. So here we type angle brackets and specify the type of objects we want to store in this vector, that is movie. Now we call this movies, and here we have a bunch of functions that we can access using the dot operator. The one that we use most often is pushback, and with this we can add an object at the end of the vector. So before calling this, we can create a movie object and initialize it with 2 values. Okay, then we pass that over here. But we can also pass a movie object using the brace initializer right here. Because this class is generic, so it knows that we're going to store movie objects here. So if we call pushback and pass a brace initializer, this method is going to interpret this as a movie object. So on the fly, it's going to create a movie object and it's going to initialize it with these values. Okay, so let's remove the second line and duplicate this to add another movie. So let's make this Terminator 1 and this one Terminator 2. I don't know the release here. Let's make it 87. Now we can work with this like a regular array. So if you want to access the first movie object, we type movies of 0 dot. Now we can print the title. So that is Terminator 1. We can also loop over this vector. So we type for movie in movies. Here we can also use the auto keyword to make our code a little bit simpler. Now, here we're going to print movie.title followed by endo. As simple as that. Now let's run the program. So we see all the movies we have stored in our vector. There is just one tiny warning here. Let's look at the warning. The warning is saying loop variable is copied but only used as constant reference. Consider making it a constant reference. So here if you press Alt and Enter, we can apply the suggestion that CLion is making. So take a look. It's declaring this as a constant auto variable that is actually a reference variable. So in each iteration, this loop variable is going to reference one of the movies in the vector. So instead of copying values from our vector into this temporary variable, this movie variable is going to reference the actual objects in this vector. Okay?